This is a reading video for My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 24. Click in the link in the description below to go watch my reaction, and then come back here to see my full thoughts and Disney theories about this episode and what's to come, and so on and so forth, in my eyes, theorizing, so on and so forth. So click away now, or be spoiled as to what happened in this episode. Okay, so we met the. Is it top three or big three? It was one of those. The top three classes. I think they're called the big three. I think it was something like that. Anyways, we met the. It's like the top tier third years. Basically, the top three students of UA. Are going to be, I guess, helping or something the class with their next phase in the UA schooling and such regarding these kind of like jobs outside of school, basically. So it'll be more like hero work instead of the internships and stuff like that. It'll actually be like probably, whatever heroes usually do on assignments, kind of think that maybe the UA kids would do it, basically. So all good things, it seems like. We met one of them, one of the top kids. He can like phase through walls. See, I'm not sure. Okay, there's different methods that I can see like his power being. It's either he can literally walk through walls, or he can literally like melt into the object and just like travel underground kind of thing, and then kind of like melt back up kind of thing. Or I mean, there's so many different ways that it could do it, right? Like I don't think the standard like going through walls is like it could be, right? It could be the case, but I feel like it's like a little bit more complex kind of thing, because like the going through walls thing, just like phasing through walls and everything, that is like a hardcore like superhero trope kind of thing. Like whenever like a character has it, is kind of like run through walls like very instantly kind of thing. But in My Hero Academia, it's more so like scientific when it comes to like their superpowers, like Bakugo, like having like explosive hands. Like if they did that in a comic book kind of thing, he would just like explosive fists, stuff like that. But in Boku no Hero Academia, they actually explain it as his sweat glands excrete nitroglycerin, and then he just like explodes the sweat kind of thing. So it's a little bit like scientific to everything. Whereas like Deku, for instance, he's super ridiculously strong, but his body can't take it, so it breaks itself whenever he tries to use it. Invisible Girl, for instance, is invisible. You can like interact with her, like she like people like bumped into her by accidentally, like the cowboy guy. I can't remember what what his hero name is, but when he accidentally like kind of like bumped like his shoulder, or yeah, his arm onto I guess her chest or something like that, and she's like she got all upset about it. But even that has some scientific. I mean, they haven't like got into it, but I'm sure there is a scientific reason for that. Like her skin is really like some kind of pearlescent, or whatever. I'm sure there's some kind of explanation for it. But stuff like Sue and Gang Orca and that kind of thing, who are just like pure animals, right? It's almost like they're humanoids, but they have animal DNA kind of thing. So like Sue has frogs, Gang Orca is an orca, and so on and so forth. So having characters, or all the characters in the show, have a reason, I guess, except Ida. Ida's like the only one that we haven't really explained too much of, like his engine power. I guess most of them are like going to be like kind of thing, but I guess there could be explanations for all of them kind of thing. But the more notable one is Bakugo, with his sweat glands and everything. I mean, there's a couple more too as well. Oh, Momo. She can summon objects from her body, but she has to know the molecular structure of the object that she's making, which is like Jesus Christ. Like down to like the atom and like all this kind of stuff to like create an object. Um that's like pretty hardcore. Like it's not just simple as like I want like a stick and then just a stick pops out kind of thing. Like you have to know like okay, the stick is made up of it just like make the item. So stuff like that and also uh crap, who was like Dark Shadow is kind of in a way like everything has like a drawback as well kind of thing. So it's like Dark Shadow is like a shadow, but at the same time, if it's too dark, he gains control kind of thing instead of the other way around. Um, Stuff like that. So what I'm getting at is I'm wondering how in depth this guy's power is compared to like just phasing through walls. I'm assuming it's more so just phasing through it, but this like just staying in the object and then kind of moving around underground or whatever it's attached to, you can go underground and do whatever kind of thing. Because if it's just like phasing through walls, then he went through the wall and then he went underground, came back around and then up again to like poke his head out of the ground kind of thing. If he was like melding with the object kind of thing, when like melted into it or like that or whatever, it would stand to reason like that is what he's doing, because it seems like he came through the wall and then he went into the wall and then like a second later he was on the ground kind of popping up again. So like he moved through surfaces and then like popped up there kind of thing. Um, so I'm wondering if how that is going to come into play with fighting villains and things. I'm wondering how he fights and everything. I'm wondering if it's like hit and run guerrilla tactics kind of thing, like pop up punch and then just going underground again and just go somewhere else and then pop up punch and then just like go underground again. So like I wonder if that is how he fights, or does he have a different way of fighting, or whatever. Like can he grab somebody and drag them underground? I just had like somewhat of like a revelation. Hold on, I need to pop the episode back up again. Um, oh crap, I already removed the file. Let me restore it more time. There we go. Okay, so let me pop this open. I'm gonna mute this so that way, like, hopefully nothing super bad is gonna happen here. I just want to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so partway through this episode, this part here. So there was people literally in the ground, so and like through the trucks and things, like all the trucks and stuff were all like those hands and stuff like coming out of them. They're like in the ground, their heads, and this guy's like in a tire kind of thing. So it's either this person right here, or it could be the person on the light up top. I'm waiting for it to show. It's definitely not this guy. This guy's different. That guy. I don't know. He's got claws. I don't think. I don't think that's the case. But it would stand to reason, right? Like if you had the ability to phase through objects or whatever, ground and so on and so forth, that you can grab somebody, use your ability, and drag them underground to then like keep them there, kind of effectively. So that was kind of what I was thinking. Like my revelation there, I was like, what if it's these guys? Because I had a kind of like a thought when we first saw like the kind of foreshadow or whatever of this kind of new kid, basically, that he was going to be a villain. So I was kind of like, I wasn't like hardcore thinking it, not until now, kind of like now I'm thinking it, but I kind of pushed the idea out. I was like, oh, maybe he's a villain. But just like I'm just always thinking of like plot twists, like later on foreshadowing whatever, like to see if they come true, kind of thing. Like, like he's like, oh, this guy's a villain. Then later on, he is a villain. I'm like, yeah, it's like I called it. But it can go either way with this kid. Like I'm not sure. Either he is a villain and he wasn't shown up there, in the villain attack, whatever against the other villains, if that makes sense. Um, so either he was like underground at the time or something like that, and he helped out the villains kind of thing there, or he is a villain and he helped them out, whatever like that, or he is just a hero kind of thing, but somebody else has some kind of ability to kind of phase people through objects just like him. Um, I'm not sure, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's so much that can happen there that it's like there's I don't know. I don't know. I might be just overthinking it. Basically, he might just be a good hero and foreshadowing him being like a good pro hero kind of thing. Because the whole scene with All Might talking with the president, or the principal, I should say. Sorry, not the president, the principal of the school, talking about coming to UA because of all the bright people in UA, basically, and then it kind of foreshadows this like blonde-haired kid kind of thing. Never got to see his face until Deku was checking the trash out, and then we saw him in the wall, which is funny. It's like Deku was like walking, he like stopped, like he slowly like looked at, he's like, kind of thing. That was funny. And then when he like disappeared, he was just sitting there like, what just happened? It's just like that whole thing was hilarious. But yeah, so the whole foreshadow of him being strong, and then him being like he even foreshadowed himself. Um, what did he say exactly? He said something like you've seen me before, or I've seen you around before, or something like that, or something like that. Like he's been around Deku before, and Deku even said that too as well. Like he was like, I've seen this guy before, kind of thing. Like that was what I remembered. Yeah. Um. But yeah. So I'm interested to see, obviously, what's gonna happen. We have one more episode left of the season. Um. So I'm wondering what this one episode is going to like show us, kind of thing. Like, is it just gonna be like, um, teaching about the whole situation, with going to the work outside of class and that kind of thing, and then like maybe some villain stuff as well, because we actually got some twice, or copy, whatever his name is. It's no, his powers twice. Can't remember what his name is exactly, but the villain twice, the one that has like a split personality kind of thing. So he had like an episode, or a little, not episode, but this webisode was for him, kind of thing, to kind of explain his power a little bit, which is actually interesting. And it's weird they chose him of all people. I kind of would have liked to see some of the other villains besides him. Like for instance, the one girl, the blood girl kind of thing, her, like how she started being a villain, or whatever, as well as Jesus Christ, I have like something like constant things in my throat, and that sounded wrong. That's fine. I would have liked to see an episode with her, as well as like Dobby, or who was the other one that I really liked? The magician guy, I don't really care for. I mean, his power's cool, but like, I don't think we need to know anything about him pretty much. Um, the the one guy with like the totem weapon thing, he's interesting, but like I don't really find him too interesting. Like he's interesting to a point, kind of thing. Whereas like the lizard guy, he's cool. Like I would like to know more about him and why he like follows Stain so much, and like how what he's doing with the villains and everything like that. Like I know he wants to just follow in Stain's footsteps, and he honors Stain as much as like the girl does too as well. Um, but yeah, I'm interested about like a couple of the villains, not all of them. they're all kind of meh in my opinion, but their power sets are kind of interesting. Like the magnetism, that kind of thing. Very situational powers, not like an active thing that can use, all the time. I mean, much in the ways like a lot of the superhero powers in this show, I guess, is like a lot of them are just kind of like situational kind of thing. Whereas like Bakugo, when he's fighting villains, he just always secrete nitroglycerin to just explode everything around him like at all times. I mean, I know there's a limit to it, kind of thing, but his power set is very like always on kind of thing. Kind of in the same with Ida as well, but his radiator is like what kind of overheats and he can burn out. But yeah, so I'm interested for next week. I'm interested to see how they're going to finish the finale, the show, the season. Not the show, but the season. Season 4 has already been announced and is going to be next year. So we have that to look forward to, basically. I'm not sure when exactly in the year. I'm assuming early 2019. Not sure on that 100%, but I know it's been confirmed that it's happening. So I am pumped to see that. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say about these episodes, kind of thing. What did you guys think of this episode? Tell me down below, and I'll talk to you guys down there, and so on and so forth. I've been getting so many like comments recently because of the JoJo episode that I started doing on the day of release, kind of thing. Kind of special thing to see how it works out. So hopefully I can get to all the messages. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for the finale of Season 3 of My Hero Academia. Take care, everyone!